So good Friday afternoon or morning, NAWBO sisters. This is Lisa Coppola, your NAWBO board chair for just a couple more weeks until the first week of June when we welcome Dr. Janice Shinkawa as the chair of the NAWBO board. I'm delighted to be with you on this Friday afternoon. So today is May 17th. We are just about 2.5 weeks shy of meeting up in Washington, D.C. for NAWBO Days. The event starts with an incredible welcome reception hosted by our Washington, D.C. chapter. Thank you, ladies, so much for all of you who are registered for NAWBO Days. That Sunday evening reception welcoming us to the country's capital will be at the City Club of Washington on Sunday, June 2nd from 5 to 7 p.m. You don't have to register if you're already registered for NAWBO Days. If for some reason you're not registered for NAWBO Days, but you're in the vicinity of DC and you want to come to that reception and see the 200 women from around the country who will be in town with all our corporate partners, you may register for that and just go to NAWBO.org and click on the events tab. You'll go right to NAWBO Days. That's what you're looking for. And you'll have all the information you need. This venue, the City Club of Washington, is only a 10-minute ride from where we'll be at our hotel. So it's a great accessible event thanks to the Washington, D.C. chapter. And that will be our welcome to DC for NAWBO Days, historically called Advocacy Days. But this year we're having several days in a row, which I want to talk about because we still have a handful of spots available. We do have a maximum, that's 200 people. And as I was saying to the chapter leaders yesterday on the President's Assembly Zoom, we've got a little more than a dozen, I think, around 20 spots still available for registration for NAWBO Days. And I would encourage all of you to consider it, whether you are a NAWBO member or not. If you're a woman business owner or you support women business owners, NAWBO Days is the place to be. Why? Let me tell you. So our first formal day of NAWBO Days, Monday, June 3rd, we're going to kick off the day with some wellness activities, the annual membership meeting. NAWBO is a 501c6, has to do that every year. It begins at 10 a.m. that day. We're going to have information about the future of NAWBO with a great fireside chat among our two board chairs, Jan Shinkawa and Shauna Huntington, along with our wonderful CEO, Jen Earl. We're also going to be talking about the priorities, the strategic landscape for NAWBO. So that's what you want to hear because, of course, you know, NAWBO at its core is an advocacy organization advocating consistently day after day, week after week, month after month for women business owners in our nation's capital. And our chapter leaders coalesce their members in various states and cities around the country advocating at a local level, whether that be state, regional, or a municipal, a city, town, village level, again, for women business owners. We're going to have really cool a Kendra Scott pop-up shop late morning to early afternoon on June 3rd, right at our hotel. After lunch, we're going to have always special chapter awards, including president's recognition. So we want to, of course, give a nod to all of our chapter leaders around the country. And there's always an exciting and friendly competition going on between and among our chapters around the country. So you don't want to miss that. Then for our incoming chapter leaders, so that includes incoming chapter presidents, president-elects, various board members of chapters around the country, there's going to be a solid 4 hours of leadership onboarding training Monday afternoon, June 3rd. It is a really chock full of meat time. It's so important if you can possibly be there. If you, as chapter leaders, if you can possibly grab your new board members and encourage them, whether you're driving to DC, like some of my Buffalo NAWBO sisters are, they're all carpooling to DC, whether you're taking a flight Southwest, one of our partners has great fares going on. They fly right into BWI, Baltimore, and there's a train that takes you right into the center of DC where we're going to be. Leader onboard training is a great place. You get lots of information from your national board volunteers. We'll all be there. Your President's Assembly Steering Committee members, those are women who have been leaders of their chapters in the past and have stepped up, have volunteered to mentor and guide and be sounding boards for our current chapter leaders. They will be there. And you will also have chapter leaders from around the country. And one of the most powerful, I think, consequences of being a member of NAWBO is having these liaisons with other chapter leaders from around the country. I will still remember almost 10 years ago, I sat in a leader onboarding, and one of my now good friends, Sandy Clitter from the Philly chapter. Remember, I was the president-elect of Buffalo, New York, right? And Sandy was the Philly chapter board member. And she said, I was looking for corporate partner information. And she told me how Philadelphia did it. And I took that home to Buffalo, and we used a lot of that information because a hallmark of our chapters is everyone's willingness to help each other. So it's a big part of NAWBO Days. If you're not a chapter leader on June 3rd, there's an entirely separate track, the afternoon, that has a lot of other business-focused professional development content as a part of it. And I would say you don't want to miss that either. There's also a great part of our NAWBO Circle program. So the NAWBO Circle is for women with annual revenue of $1 million plus, or getting right on the doorstep of $1 million annually. And it provides great content, leadership, inspiration, and wellness programming for women who have $1 million plus businesses. So you don't want to miss all of that. And then the next day, right, June 4th. So that's Tuesday, June 4th, about 2.5 weeks from now. We'll, of course, gather for breakfast, and then we're focused on advocacy. So we're going to be talking about policies at the national level. We will have a number of speakers coming in from both the legislative branch and the executive branch, right? Congress on one side, legislative, executive, the president and the agencies under the president, including the SBA. We will interact with those folks. We will be on Capitol Hill. Those of you who have been at advocacy days in the past, now called NAWBO Days, will remember we stand on the steps of the Capitol, 150, 175, 200 plus women strong, and we show up. We show up not only to support each other, but to support the other 13 million women business owners around this country. It is such a powerful moment when we take our group photograph and then enter into the Capitol to get our briefings. And we will be doing that on June 4th, Tuesday, June 4th. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be terrific. We've got a couple Congresswomen joining us that afternoon during our briefing lunch. And then we will be meeting with Senate and House small business committee staffs. And we will be moving right into, back at the hotel, our gala that evening. And so our gala is going to include the announcing of the Woman Business Owner of the Year for 2024, sponsored by Bank of America. And as she is one of our most loyal advocates for NAWBO, Jill Calabrese-Bain from Bank of America will be there to help announce the Woman Business Owner of the Year. And like we typically have at our WBCs, there will be a gala that evening where we spend time in each other's company for inspiration and for camaraderie, right? There is nothing like when women business owners around the country get together. And then our third full day of NAWBO Days will be focused once again on advocacy. So we'll be talking regionally about advocacy. We will be talking again about policy priorities, and then there will be group meetings on Capitol Hill. So back to Capitol Hill, right? We're going to be on Capitol Hill for 2 days this time, to have access to those decision makers, those policy makers on the Hill, so that they hear our stories and they take into consideration the unique and pressing needs of women business owners around the country. And remember, here at NAWBO, our board, your board, and our HQ staff remain focused on the 3 pillars of NAWBO historically: advocacy, leadership, and education. We're your one-stop shop for all of those things to support our women business owners. So I hope, for those of you who aren't quite registered for NAWBO Days, I hope that you take some time this weekend to take a look at NAWBO.org and the events page. Look at NAWBO Days. The registration cost is $475 for 3 full days plus an evening reception the night before. It's a bargain you can't get elsewhere, and I hope to see all of you there. And I know that my fellow board members are very much looking forward to seeing all of our members in DC in just 2.5 weeks from now. The other thing I wanted to talk about very quickly is our spring membership drive. The spring savings, $25 off the initiation fee, goes until the end of this month. Notably, and I talked about this to our chapter leaders just this morning, if you know a next gen member or prospective member, and that's either a young woman, college, high school, or college aged, who has a fledgling business, or a woman of any age who's in the first 1 to 3 years of her first business, that's who we call our next gen members. And for next gen members with that $25 off, their next gen membership to NAWBO for their first year will cost $75. That's it. Again, a bargain we can't get elsewhere, and gives them access to all of the membership of NAWBO, all of the programming, the education, leadership, and advocacy. So I hope you keep that in mind. I know our chapter leaders are doing a great job of getting the word out, and I want to thank them very much for all of their efforts, because of course, most of our chapters, just like NAWBO National, are on a fiscal year. And so the fiscal year ends at the end of June, begins at the beginning of July. And so we see lots of transitions this time of year, end of May, beginning of June. So I want to take a moment to say thanks to all of our chapter leaders, all of our board members across the country, for the volunteerism, for the servant heart that you've brought this year to all of your efforts. And I want to say welcome. And we are so looking forward to seeing all of the new leaders who are stepping up, not only at the national level. I'm so excited for our new board members at the national level, but also our new board members around the country in chapters who will be doing the great work of supporting WBOs. And finally, there is a retreat this fall. It's called the Fall Visions and Voice Retreat. Now, it's not a WBC, because remember, and we've talked about this a lot since the end of last year, the end of 2023, NAWBO will celebrate its 50th anniversary next June of 2025. And so we are going to have a huge celebration event in June of 2025 back in Washington, D.C., that will include the Women's Business Conference, the galas, the onboarding of new chapter board members, and advocacy, all in one place. And so, because we are focused, putting all of our efforts, putting all of our energy on that 50th anniversary celebration in June of 2025, we will not be having a WBC, a Women's Business Conference, this fall of 2024. Instead, there was going to be the Fall Visions and Voice Retreat. It's in Paso Robles, California. Now, I'm an East Coast gal, but I understand that's about halfway between LA and San Francisco. It is going to be a unique retreat focused on 50 women who register. 25 spots are available for our NAWBO Circle members and another 25 spots for members across the country. And it will be a weekend over the course of October 3rd through 6th. The registration for Visions and Voice Retreat is live now at NAWBO.org under the Events tab. And I encourage you to take a look at it. See if that sort of wellness and business-oriented weekend retreat is something you might find to be inspirational, educational, and to really build up your capacity as a leader in your organization or your volunteerism, right? Your volunteer leadership in NAWBO or your other community and civic activities. So I encourage you to take a look at that as well. And with that, my Facebook Live as your national chair has come to an end. I can't tell you how much I've deeply, deeply appreciated meeting so many women from around the country, learning of your stories, learning of your celebrations, and learning about your challenges so that we at NAWBO across the board, leaders at all levels, can join together and make sure we are focused on propelling women business owners into economic, social, and political spheres of influence, making sure our country knows how important women business owners are to the health and to the excitement of our business community and the economic engine of our country. So thank you for allowing me to be your chair. It has been such an honor to be in this role. I look forward to being your immediate past chair and to continuing to work with you on behalf of women business owners across the country. Again, thanks so much. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you in Washington, D.C.